Hey, fourth graders, it's Mr. B here. Hope you guys are doing awesome. Today is Monday, April 20th. We are going to move on. So last Friday, we took our Chapter 15 test on fractions. Okay, so if you haven't done that yet, make sure you do the lessons first, then take the test. Okay, don't just go in blind. Okay, today we are we're moving on to decimals. Okay, you're going to need this packet. Okay, today, chapter 17, decimals. Okay, decimals homework packet. And then we will get started. Okay, so very similar to last unit, you guys are all going to need a pencil, your decimals homework packet that I just showed you. We're going to be working on page 1 today. So work on page 1 as you watch this video. Okay, you only need to do the ones that I do. Remember, the rest are extra practice. After we finish up our lesson, you're responsible for Math IXLs T1 through T4. Okay, so there's 4 of them today, but you need to make sure that you are doing those. Okay, so same thing, score up to 80. But otherwise, so let's go through a lesson here. Okay, so we're introducing decimals today. Okay, so decimals, page 1's going to look like this, but I'm going to go through just a couple of vocab terms that we need to know before we start. Okay, so chapter 17, understanding decimals and place value. Okay, so let me grab a marker here. Sure, perfect. Okay, so today we're going to start with our vocab, and then we're going to go through our lesson. Okay, so first we're understanding decimals and place value. That's kind of what we're going for today. Okay, so place value of decimals. So decimal is a number with one or more digits to the right of the decimal point. Okay, so I'm going to show you an example on the next slide, but this entire thing, number is a decimal. This entire thing is a decimal. Okay, a decimal point is this guy, that little point. That is a symbol used to separate dollars from cents in money and to separate the ones place from the tenths place in decimals. Okay, so here's the ones place. Okay, here's the ones place. Here's the tenths place. Right, notice how I added the th on the end. Okay, tenths, hundredths, thousandths, thousandths. Excuse me. Thousandth is a 1 of 1,000 equal parts. Okay, so it's 1 of 1,000 equal parts. Okay, so this is where the thousandth place value is. Okay, equivalent decimals, basically very similar to equivalent fractions, are 2 or more decimals that name the same amount. Okay, so one thing that we're going to be working on today is finding equivalent decimals to fractions. Okay, so decimals are fractions, right? Because decimals are part of a whole, right? They're not a full one, right? Because sometimes we don't have one or a full whole number in this, and we'll have part or a decimal over here to express that it's part of a whole, right? Okay, so today's objective is I can model, read, and write fractions as decimals. Okay, so that's what we're working on today. We're converting fractions to decimals or decimals to fractions. Okay, so it's going to be pretty easy. If you just, all you have to do is listen to what you're saying. Okay, so let's start. Okay, so just another quick thing here. So ones and decimal point. Okay, we have tenths, hundredths, and thousandths. Okay, so tenths, hundredths, thousandths. Okay. So Ty is reading a 100-page book about metamorphic rocks. Okay, so this is the important part right here. 100-page book. Okay. So 100-page book. I'm gonna go to that. 100-page book. Okay, about metamorphic rocks. He has read 7/10. Sorry if you can't see that. That says 7/10. 7/10 of the book. Okay. Only one page in the book has a picture. Okay, only one page of the book has a picture. What decimal part of the book has Ty read? So what part of the book has Ty read? Okay, and what decimal part has pictures? Okay, so we'll answer this question first. Okay, So I know that one entire square, in this case, is 1. You read that as 1, and you write that 1 over 1, right? So in decimal form, okay, you're going to read it the same way. That's still 1. This is still 1, okay? But you write it as 1.0, okay? Because is one whole and nothing else, okay? So if we look back up here, 7/10, right? 7/10. I'm going to write that just a little bit neater so that way you guys don't have a hard 7/10, okay? So as a fraction, you would read it 7/10, right? How you would write that is 7/10 with the fraction bar, right? As the decimal, you would read it the same way, 7/10, and you would write it 0.7, okay? Notice if we go back to here, we have 7. So just pretend that's not there. And pretend this isn't there. Pretend this isn't there. Okay? Okay? So we have 0.7. We have 7/10, right? 7/10. Okay? So we have 7 in our tenths spot. Okay? So we have 7/10. Okay? Because we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 out of 8, 9, 10. Okay? So we have 7 out of 10. Okay? Now this one is out of 100. If you can't see that, this is out of 100. I'm going to write that in a blue here, I think. A better blue, a darker blue, so that way you guys can see it. 1 out of 100, okay? So out of a fraction, you would say 1/100th, or 1 over 100, right? Because there is 1 that is shaded in out of 100, okay? As a decimal, you read it the same way, 1/100th, okay? That's the connection we're trying to make here. All these are read the same way. All of these are read the same way, okay? 100th, 100th, okay? Now notice, we have 0.01, 1/100th, right? We have 1 in the 100th place value, okay? So that is how we relate fractions, okay? If you are able to read it, you can write it, okay? So another way you can think of it is money, okay? So Ty is reading a 100-page book, same thing, okay? 7/10 of the book, only 1 page, okay? So we're not going to need that part. What decimal part of the book has Ty read? So we already figured that out. It was 7/10, right? 7/10. Okay, so what we want to convert that to a decimal though. Okay, so if if this is $1, right? 10 dimes equals $1. Okay, so 1 dime equals 1/10 or 0.1 of a dollar. So being that it was 7/10, right? Because each is 1/10. 1/10, right? 1/10, we need 7/10. So we have 0. So this is our ones, right? Ones. Okay. 0.7. Because we have 7/10. 7/10. Okay. 0.7. Okay. So you could also look at a number line. Okay. So Ty is reading, so we don't need this part again. Okay, so Ty is reading a 100-page book about metamorphic rocks. He has read 7/10 once again. Okay, so we look at our tenths, 7/10, 7/10, tenths, 7/10. Okay, so there are a couple different ways that you can do this. Okay, so today we are working on converting between decimals and fractions from word form. Okay, so if we can read it, we can do it. Okay, so let's go here. Full screen. Okay. All right. So I'm going to make just a quick little place value box here. So we have ones, and then I'm going to put our decimal point here, okay? Decimal point goes right there. I'm going to change the color so that way you guys can see that that's their decimal point, okay? I'm going to make our 10. I'm going to put TH, tenths, okay? I'm sorry. I'm going to insert a blank page here. Insert blank page, okay? So I'm going to make this a little bit bigger, okay? So I'm going to have ones, and then decimal point again. Decimal point, okay? And then I'm going to go tenths, right? Tenths, hundredths, okay? And then thousands, okay? We don't need to know that one right now, okay? So remember, this is our decimal point. This is ones, whole number, right? And these are all the numbers after. So whole number, right? Because like we would have one whole, okay? And these are all parts of a whole. Parts of, oh man, there we go. Whole. Hopefully you guys can read that, okay? So that's parts of a whole, okay? So I'm gonna go back here. Okay, so example 73 hundredths, okay? We have 0.73 because it takes our word form, okay, from there, and then we write it as a fraction. So fractions, I'm gonna erase that. So fractions go down this way, decimals go down this way, okay? So 2/10, okay? So if it were a whole number, it would say 2 and 2/10, okay? Or 2 and 1/10, because there are, if it doesn't say and, if it does not say and, there are no whole numbers. No whole numbers, okay? Whole numbers. Okay? If it does not say and, it means there are no whole numbers. So that means automatically each number is going to begin with a 0 because I do not see an and. Okay? So 2/10, okay? 2/10. So if I go back to here, I know we have 0 ones. Our decimal point is right here, okay? And how many tenths do we have? 2/10. So our decimal is 0.2. Okay? So now, as I said before, if you can read this, then you can write it as a decimal and a fraction. Okay? So if you hear 2, so break it down. 2/10. 2/10. Okay? So next one. Try this one by yourself. Pause the video. Okay, so 5/10 now. 5/10. Once again, we do not see an and because that means there are no whole numbers. No whole numbers, okay, right now. Okay, so 5/10. So 0 and 5/10. So I'm going to go back. I'm going to erase this one. A little bit smaller. Okay, it's fine. Okay, so we have 0 once again, decimal place, and it said 5/10. 5/10. We have 5 in the tenths column, okay? So our decimal is 0.5. Our fraction is 5, break it down, 5 And then this part tells us what our denominator is going to be, 5/10, or 1/2, right? Because we can reduce it. Always want to reduce if we can. Okay, go ahead and try these next three by yourself. Try these next three by yourself. Okay, so 26 hundredths. Okay, so I see that. 26, so I don't see the and, right? Don't see the and. So 0.26 because 26 hundredths, right? This tells us what we're ending with, what our last place value is. Okay, so now I see this, so I break it down again. So I break it down, 26 hundredths, 26 over 100. And you can, I'm sure you could reduce that, okay? But I'm just going to keep going. So now I see 56 hundredths, okay? So now thinking about this, I know this one was in the hundredths place value because it ended in the hundredths, okay? So 56, 0.56, okay? And now, once again, break it down. 56 over 100. Okay. This one, next one, 25 hundredths. Okay. So again, we don't have an and. Okay. We don't have an and. So 25, and it ends in the hundredths place value. Ends in the hundredths. Okay. So once again, break it down here. 25 hundredths. Okay. This one's pretty easy to break down or reduce, because I know a quarter of 100 is a fourth, right? Because it takes 4 quarters to get 100. This next one, 11 hundredths. So 0.11 because it ends in the hundredths place value. So that 1, 11, okay? So the next one, we break it down again. 11 over 100, okay? You guys try the last 4 here. Pause the video, try the last 4 by yourself. Okay? So number 7, I see 44 hundredths. So once again, we don't have an and. No and, okay? So 0.44 because it ends in the hundredths. Okay, so now break it down. 44. And then what is my denominator going to be? Hundredths. Okay? Next one, 77 hundredths. So this one's going to be 0.77. 77 hundredths. So 77, break it down, and it ends in 100, right? So that's going to be our denominator, 77 hundredths. Change the color here, 36 hundredths. Okay, so I know that it's going to be 0.36 because there are no ands. And then hundredths, so break it down, 36 over 100. Okay, last one here, 97 hundredths. Okay, so 0.97. Okay, hundredths. Okay, so now we break it down, 97 over 100. Okay, the backside here will be extra practice. Or actually, let's do a couple of these because we're doing thousands now. We'll do a couple of these. Okay, so it's the same thing. We just break it down. Same thing, okay? So we'll do 3 of them here, okay? So 551 thousandths. So if we go back here, okay, I'm going to erase this super quick. Okay. Draw us a new one. Okay. So our question was 551 thousandths. 551 thousandths. So notice how they have to fill in the place value. 551 thousandths because it ends in the thousandths place value. So our decimal is going to be like that. Okay. So our decimal is going to be 0.551. And now it's the same thing as this. We break it down, right? We have 551. over 1,000, because that tells us what our denominator is going to be. 551 over 1,000. Okay. You guys try this one by yourself. Try these two by yourself. Okay. So pause the video if you haven't. 484 thousandths. Okay. So if I go back, 484,000. I'm just going to draw a new line. Okay. This one's done. So I'm going to make the same thing. 484 thousandths. Okay. 484 thousandths. This right here tells us what we're ending with, remember, okay? What place value we end up in, okay? We end up, once again, in the thousands place value, okay? 484 thousandths, okay? So we'll go 0.84, 484, excuse me, okay? So once again, break it down, 484 over 1,000. Okay. If you haven't done number 3, so 261 thousandths, so 0.261, because 261 ends in the thousandths place value, Okay. So now break it down again. Oops, sorry. So we have 261. This tells us what our denominator is, thousandths. Okay. The rest of these will be extra practice. Okay. Otherwise, make sure to do your IXLs T1 through T4. Okay. But that is all we have for math today. Okay. So make sure if you have questions on this, ask them. Okay. Pause the video when you need to. If I go too fast, things like that. Okay. Otherwise, have a great day.